Hello, today I wanted to continue a series that I started a while back, I think in April, which is called Movies Worth Watching, where I try to show you 5 movies that I really like from a certain topic that I think you should watch if you haven't yet. Now, after I did the first one, I want to say that I'm trying to say movies that you might have not watched. For this one, which is for the topic of time travel, we're all gonna think that everyone has watched Back to the Future, the whole series. If you have not seen Back to the Future, you have to. That's one of my favorite movies ever. So if you have not seen that, you should watch that. I'm not gonna count it as one of my 5 because I think it's too obvious and everyone has seen it, everyone has heard about it. With that said, I'm gonna start and share with you the 5 movies that I've picked for this video. The first one's called Predestination, and it's the most recent one out of all of them. It came out in 2014 and it stars Ethan Hawke. Now, I really like this movie and it's a really cool concept. If you really like time travel stuff, everything that has to do with time travel, you would really like this one. Now, personally, when I watched it, I already knew what was gonna happen because I've read and I've seen a lot of time travel things. So for me, it wasn't too much of a big surprise. It was a bit predictable because I knew what was gonna happen because I've read a lot about this. There's this short story called By His Bootstraps that you will really love if you like this movie because it has the same concept. And it actually deals with one of my favorite time travel paradoxes. When I read By His Bootstraps, I was just like, this is amazing. I love that paradox and that sort of thing. So when I watched this movie and I knew that it was going to be the same thing, I was really happy about that. But I think it's done very cleverly and it's done in a really cool way that you enjoy the whole ride. The plot itself, it's a time agent that's going on his last mission and has to like solve a crime, blah 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 sort of thing. But the cool thing, it's not the plot itself, it's how it all develops. And I know that kind of sounds like it's the plot, but if you watch it, you'll know what I mean. If you're going to watch something that has to do with time travel and it's not one of the most popular movies ever, you have to watch this one. It has a lot to do with the problems of time travel and how it can affect different things and different storylines and things like that, if you know what I'm talking about. It's really cool. It has an 84% on Rotten Tomatoes, so I think you should check it out. The second one I wanted to share with you guys, it's called Source Code, and it came out in 2011. In this movie there's a train explosion and this guy that's in the military, who is played by Jake Gyllenhaal, has to go into that train into the last few minutes before the train explodes to try to find how that happened and who did it and all that stuff. So he gets to relive those 10 or like 15 minutes, I don't know, the last few minutes over and over again. When you think about having to watch the same thing being repeated over and over again, you feel like it might not be as good, but different things happen and it's just really cool. It has 92% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm going to be giving you all the scores for everything just so you have that like outsider knowledge in case you don't want to just trust what I'm saying. I really loved this movie when I watched it, and I told a few people to watch it afterwards and everyone loved it, so yeah, you might love it too. The third one's going to be Looper, which was released in 2012, and it stars Bruce Willis, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and my favorite, Emily Blunt. This one is set in the future where time travel exists, but only very rich people can access it, so obviously there's like a black market for it as well, and like a mafia sort of thing. And what they do is when they want to kill someone off, they go and send an agent back into the past or in the future and they kill him off there. And that's kind of what they call like closing their loop, which is why it's called Looper. I don't want to give away much of the plot of this because I feel like when you look it up and you read the synopsis, it tells you more than what you need. So I don't want to give away more from that, but it's really good. Has a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, I think I watched this one in the cinema when it came out and I really liked it, and I've seen it at least 3 or 4 times since then. I feel like everyone can love this movie, but you need to be prepared to watch a few action scenes and all that stuff. The fourth one's called Primer, and this one came out in 2004, and it's the messiest one out of all the 5 that I'm sharing. When I say that it's messy, I just mean that it deals a lot with different timelines, and they do a lot of going to the past and to the future and changing the timeline, and then different things happen and different people come up and all that stuff. And I'm going to admit this, I've seen it 3 times I think, and I still have to look up what happened at some points of it, And if you go online, there's like this huge timeline drawn and all that stuff. Everyone that loves time travel loves this movie because of that, because it's messy, but it keeps you watching and the plot's actually really good. So it has like all the elements of time travel in it. The actual plot is about these two guys who are engineers, and they're building this machine, but by sort of accident they create what they think is a time machine, and so they use it, and that's kind of how the plot starts. I think it's really cool to see what time machines are like in different movies and in different worlds that have been built, because some movies use time travel like with a machine, some others is just like sort of magic thing, and some others, I don't know, it's just very different to see how time machines are different from one movie to another. It's also really cool to see what the rules are in every different movie, because obviously time travel is not something that exists, so it's cool to see how different people perceive it and what people think are the rules for it, what can you do and what can you not do with it. This one has a slightly lower score on Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 71%, and I think it's because it's way too messy and not everyone can follow. That sort of messiness kind of makes it a bit boring at some points of it. You have to pay attention to and you kind of have to think for yourself what's going on, then this is one for you. The last one's going to be The Butterfly Effect, and that one also came out in 2004. Now this one, I don't think it's a good movie, but bear with me. I sort of agree with the score on Rotten Tomatoes. It has a 33%, which is really low, but I actually like some of the aspects of the movie, so I'm kind of saving it. Yeah, I wouldn't really give it like a 33, I probably would give it around 55 to 60, I would say. It's not the best movie out there, but for time travel purposes, it deals with how, well, the butterfly effect, if you don't know what it is, it's sort of how you go back in time, and by changing something back then when you come back to the present, then there's something different. In this story, the main character, played by Ashton Kutcher, goes sort of back in time through his memories and kind of changes things back, and then when he comes to the future, to the present, which would be the future from the past, but it's actually the present, time travel stuff, then things have changed. Again, this is not the best movie, but I know a lot of people like it, so might as well just share it. So that is going to be everything for today's video. Please let me know if you guys like these, and if you have any other topics that you would like me to do in the future. I have a few planned, but if you have any others, please let me know in the comments. I can totally do that, and I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys later with another video. Bye!